Today we will learn functions in C. First, we have to understand what is the need of function in C. So, suppose you need to create a particular program, and in this program, you have to create one circle and you have to color this circle. So, this both action you have to perform. So, in this case, what you can do, you can divide this task into smaller chunks, such as first you create one function that can define a circle, and second, you can define another function that can color it. So modularity is achieved using function, and also we can reuse this code anywhere where the functionality of this kind is required. So basically the function is a block of code that performs some specific task. So whenever I'm going to define a particular function, you have to understand we are going to perform some specific task inside that function. In C, we have two kinds of function. First one is standard library function, and the second one is user defined function. Today, our topic of discussion is standard library function. I want to explain some of the useful standard library function in C. Whenever we talk about standard library function in C, we know that there are popular library functions such as printf and scanf that we are using every day in every program. However, there is one header file which is known as ctype.h in C. So this header file has a set of function to classify or transform individual character. So basically this ctype.h header file is a repository of some standard library function which is used to classify or transform some characters. So this character related operations are performed by some specific standard functions. Those belongs to this ctype.h header file. So among this, one of the most popular function is isUpper. IsUpper is a standard library function that can be used to check whether a particular character is in uppercase or in lowercase. In ctype.h header file, we have a standard library function which is known as isAllNum. This is one of the most important library function. It checks whether a particular argument that is passed to this function is an alphanumeric character or not. So first we will understand what is the syntax of this function, or we can say what is the prototype of this function, means how we can define this function. In general, for using isAllNum function, we have to take the help of ctype.h header file. And while using this function, we have to remember this function has a return type int. Now, what is the meaning of return type? Basically, this isAllNum function will return 1 if the argument is an alphanumeric character. Means whatever we will pass from here, if this argument is an alphanumeric character, then this standard library function will return 1 if it is dealing with alphanumeric argument. Otherwise, if it is not an alphanumeric argument, then it will return 0. So that's why this function is returning either 1 or 0. That's why the return type of this function is integer. Now we have to talk about the actual implementation of this function. See the syntax. Whenever we are writing any code, we are assuming that ctype.h is there. Then we have to definitely take one character variable and one integer variable that will display the result. Why we need integer variable? Because remember, the return type, whatever the function, standard library function is returning to you, that is integer. So that's why the result in which we will store the output of the function, it must be an integer. Say in this character, I am storing one value 5, and we know that if we write any digit within single quotes, it will be treated as character in C. Now we will call the standard library function. What was that? Is all num. And within this function, we have to pass some character argument. Say I am passing C. So what will happen? This isAllNum function will check whatever is the content of this variable, that is character 5, it is alphanumeric or not. And then it will return the result within R. And we know that the result will be either 1 or 0. And we know that since 5 is an alphanumeric character, so output of this R will be definitely 1. However, remember one point, if I pass say plus, so within this character variable C, I am passing plus. And then if I call is all num function, standard library function, and then if I test that if the argument plus is passed through this character variable C, then what will be the output of this isAllNum function? Definitely the output will be 0 because plus is not an alphanumeric character. So this is the basic implementation of isAllNum function. So what is the practical application of this function that we have to understand? If you have some character and you don't know whether it is an alphanumeric character or not, so we can easily check it. And for checking this kind of situation, we don't have to explicitly write, means we don't have to write any explicit code for it. Basically, my point is whatever the functionality of isAllNum function, it is already defined in the header file ctype.h by some developer beforehand. So we are just using it. So this is the actual benefit of using standard library function. So we can perform any difficult kind of checking operations using this standard library functions. Now, say this is the code where stdio.h is the first header file that we need, and then we need ctype.h. So why I'm using ctype.h? So that I can use the standard library function isAllNum. So first, within this character variable C, I'm taking 5 and I'm going to print the result that is stored in R. Then similarly, within C, I am taking other alphanumeric character just as capital Q, small l, and at the last we are storing plus. And then we will check what will be the respective output for each and every case. So if I compile this code and execute it, I will get that when 5 is passed, it is an alphanumeric character. Then Q is passed, it is an also alphanumeric character. And then when L is passed, it is also an alphanumeric character. And when plus is passed, then it is returning 0. Now, there is one question. So here the question is, I have explained that the return type of this isAllNum standard library function is either 0 or 1. If it is an alphanumeric character, it will pass 1. Otherwise, it will pass 0. But here in this code, we have seen that if it is a not alphanumeric character, it is showing us the output 0. But why it is showing different value 4, 1, 2 for other alphanumeric character? In case of C, whenever a particular argument that I am passing inside this function, if it is alphanumeric, then basically C returns a non-zero value. Non-zero value does not imply that it will always return 1. Non-zero value means it will return any value which is positive. But if the argument is non-alphanumeric, just like plus, then it will definitely return 0. This point you have to remember. So here you have to point out one more point about is_all_num. Always this is_all_num function will return 4 whenever we are passing any integer value, and whenever we are passing any capital letter, it will always pass 1, and whenever we pass any small letter, it will always pass 2, and for any non-alphanumeric number or value, it will pass 0. But what is the reason? I will explain it. But before that, I have to explain one more thing. And why we are talking about standard library function each time, why we are concerned about the output of the standard library function is the standard library function coding is not visible to us. It is already defined in a particular header file by some developer. So by visualizing the output of the code, we have to comprehend what is the actual functionality of this specific standard library function. To explain this concept, I want to explain one more library function. That is, we have another library function in ctype.h which is known as isControl. And since it is a function, we have to pass some argument within this function, and the return type of the function is again integer. That is, now we have to understand what is the functionality of this isControl standard library function. This function basically checks whether a character which is passed as an argument is a control character or not. This is the purpose of this standard library function. Now, what is the definition of a specific control character? See, control character means that cannot be visible in the output screen. That is /n. Next line, this is a particular control character, or you can say that escape, it is also a control character. So the purpose of this standard library function is check whether a particular argument that we are passing, it is a control character or not. Now again, if the character passed is a control character, then it returns a non-zero integer, and if not, it returns 0. So this is the return type of this function. Now using this function again, we have to use ctype.h header file, and then we will take one character variable, and then we take another variable for storing the result. That is ctype.h is the header file, and within main I will take one integer variable to store the result and one character variable that can be passed as an argument inside the function. So if I store the character and if I call the isControl function, then what is the output we can expect? So in this case, the output will be 0, because whatever argument we are passing, it is basically a non-control character. However, if I pass a control character like next line, and if I call this function, and then as an output it will return 1, because slash n is a control character. Now I will write this code. So this is the code where I have used standard library function isControl from the C-type library file. And here I have passed one control character and one non-control character. And this characters are passed as an argument to this function. Now let's compile this code and execute this code. See what is the output. When q it is a non-control character, it is returning 0. However, control characters will not be visible in the output screen, so that's why slash n is not visible. But it is passing some value as 32. So there will be one question. It is a control character. It will pass some non-zero value. But why it is happening repeatedly, we have to understand. Now I will tell you the actual reason. Whenever a character we are passing as an argument inside the standard library function, the corresponding ASCII value of this character is passed instead of the character itself. We are not actually passing character q as an argument. We are passing ASCII value of the character capital Q. That's why we are expecting this kind of output. Now I will tell you what is the industry level application. See, the point is control standard library function is used whenever we want to see the ASCII values of all the control characters, because how many control characters are there we don't know, and what are the ASCII value it is also not known to us. See this code. In this code, I have used this ctype.h header file so that I could use isControl library function. In this library function, what I did, I have created one loop from starting from 0 to 127 so that I could print all the ASCII value of the control characters. So let me execute this code. See, these are the ASCII values of all the existing control characters in C programming language. So my point is, why I am looping from 0 to 127, because we have the ASCII range between 0 to 127. So from this we can guess how many control characters we are having and what are the respective or corresponding ASCII values. So now I will tell you one more point. Whenever we use slash n, so slash n is an escape character. So for slash n, it is showing 32. And in this case, slash n is a particular escape character, but it is not showing 32. What is the reason behind it? Actually, the problem with the escape character is we are dealing with standard library function. So here my point is, if we compare this two code, so here 32 for slash n is not visible because slash n is not present in the keyboard as an escape sequence, just like blank space. However, here, since slash n does not exist in the keyboard all together as one character, so that's why I have explicitly passed slash n in this character variable C so that I could test the functionality of the isControl standard library function. Now I will tell you a function which is known as beep function in C. So which is used to make a beep sound, and this sound will be created in a speaker. And remember one point, this standard library function beep is known as synchronous library function. So why it is a synchronous library function? This function waits and does not return to its caller function until the sound ends. So now we have to understand the parameter of this beep function, because this beep function basically deals with two parameters, x and y, where x is the frequency of the sound. So we can impose sound frequency using this variable x, which is passed as an first argument in the beep function. On the other hand, the y, you can say that it denotes sound duration. It is in millisecond. This beep standard library function deals with two specific arguments, sound frequency and sound duration. But we can use this beep function in this manner also. So in this, we can only write the sound duration. But here I have mentioned that it will accept sound duration in millisecond. But if I write beep 1, then this 1 will be treated as second. So this beep sound will buzz up to 1 second. Whenever a particular prototype of a function is defined, there will be some basic rules. But we can modify these rules, whatever modification is accepted on this standard library function. So these are the two basic syntax that we can use for this beep library function. However, this beep library function belongs to the header file windows.h. So whenever we want to use this beep library function, we have to include windows.h header file. There is one more point we have to identify. Basically, why this beep sound is used. This beep sound is very useful during debugging process or finding error in a specific program. Whenever you have long lines of code in your programming, whichever position is prone to error, you can add one beep sound that will identify your error. So this is one of the application. But sometimes with this beep function, there will be another function which is used, which is known as sleep function in C. What happens? Sleep function means it will embed some pause in between two functions. So whenever you have two beep functions consecutively, and if you impose one sleep function in between, it means it will create one pause, so that you could create multiple different kind of sound using this beep function. So I will show you each and every application of those functions, because using this sleep function we can also create animation in C, that I will show it to you. So let's start with the beep function first. So this is the code where I have just called this beep function with two variables, x and y, the frequency and the duration of the sound in milliseconds. Now if I execute this code, so this is your syntax number 1, but notice one thing, we have to include windows.h, right? So this is the header file that contains this beep library function. And now I can modify this beep library function, that is, see this code. In this code, I have used one loop. So my point here is you can also write this beep function inside a loop. And the second thing is, after beep function, you can use the sleep function also. And then if you create this pattern repeatedly, then you will get some sound variations in your programming. So if you execute this code, then you will get some sound variation. But today my topic of discussion is not sound. See, sound can be generated using beep function, and accordingly you can change the frequency of the sound and the duration of the sound as per your choice. But today, my topic of discussion will be on sleep function, because this function not only used between two sound variations, it has its own implementation in separate domain. So I will show you one specific programming, then you will understand what is the exact meaning of this sleep function. So now we know that whenever we are learning any problem on loops, we know that each time we have to learn how to print some specific patterns. So this kind of problem will also be there when we are learning any loop. So I want to discuss 2 or 3 points so that we could easily create any pattern. But I will give you one shortcut. That is, what is the shortcut? So whenever we have to create this kind of pattern, we have to understand we have to track the row, and also we have to track the column. So whenever we are tracking row and column together, so we have to use two loops, and these loops will be nested in nature. Means first I will write one loop, and within that loop I have to write another loop. So this kind of looping is known as nested looping. So why we need nested looping? Because I have to track the row as well as I have to track the column. So here the outer loop is responsible for tracking the row, and the inner loop is responsible for tracking the column. So this is the first point you have to remember. Then second point is, who is responsible for printing the stars? I am printing the stars in the columns. So basically, column is responsible for printing the star, and since inner loop is responsible for denoting the column, so within this I will print the star. So you have to remember that inner loop, or the loop that tracks the column, will print the star. And now, what is the purpose of the outer loop? After each and every star, I am giving one slash n. Means after end of each row, I am just giving next line, and then I am coming to the next row. So end of each and every row is denoted by slash n. So it is the responsibility of the outer loop to print the slash n or next line. So these are the two basic idea that you have to remember. The outer loop will print the next line, denotes the end of the row, and the inner loop is responsible for printing the star in the column. And now let's talk about the looping. So we know that for looping we have to use some variable, and definitely they will start from some value, and then we have to continue this up to some range, and then we have to increment it by 1. Now what is the initial condition and what is the looping condition? Now let's check the code. So in this code, the looping starts from 1 for the row, means the first row, because 0th row does not exist. We are starting from the row 1, and it will continue up to n. N means the user will provide how many row it needs. So if user needs 10 row, then this outer loop will continue up to 10. So now let's come to the column count. If first row is 1, then first column will be also 1. However, here I have written that the column number j is less or equal to I. Why? Because see this. In the first row, I have one column. In the second row, I have two columns. in the third row, we have 3 columns. So basically, what is the number of column? It is defined by the number of row, and the number of row is tracked by this variable I. For that reason, j is less or equal to I. So this is the simple pattern, and this is the simple concept of nested loop where we can print star. But here the point is, since column is responsible for printing the star, so inner loop denotes the column. So I have given one sleep function here. Means each star will be printed after some stopgap so that we could see the animated outcome. So now see how this sleep function will work here. I need 10 rows. And now due to the sleep function, I am getting one animation. So whenever each star is printed, in between them I have 1 second of gap due to the sleep function. So as a result, it is creating some specific animation. And the real life example of this sleep function is we can create progress bar. Means what is the completion percentage of my code? I can measure it with a progress bar. And this kind of progress bar can be created using this nested loop and sleep function together. So this is the output. So it will print 10 rows and then it will stop. So here the point is, whenever we use beep library function, this beep library standard library function comes from windows.h. However, for using sleep function, we don't need any explicit header file. So stdio.h is enough to deal with this.